The economy is sinking fast, and with AI and robotics and automation, it's going to change everything. In today's video, I'm going to explain the reality of what's happening today, dispel all that fiction and rumor, and we're going to look at what you personally need to do. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. My name is David Quintieri. I am the Money GPS, the guy who predicted the bottom of the stock market in 2022, talked about lumber, talked about uranium, all of what has happened simply because I got my finger on the pulse and I bring that to you. In today's video, we're going to talk about employment, jobs, and what's happening with the Federal Reserve. This is such a big deal right now here in 2025, okay? We're going to break it down in 3 sections. We're going to look at the issues, the changes that are happening, and the actions that you need to take. So we're going to bring this together in these 3 parts, starting with part A, the issues at hand. Okay, so you can look at the actual data itself coming from the BLS. We know that these numbers, come on, you and I, we both know they're not real, but they are at least similar when we look at these month over month. We're going to get their own view of the way things are happening. Anyway, so we've got a problem, right? Because they didn't manage to add jobs in a world in which they can do this magically by waving their wand. The unemployment rate, the U3 unemployment rate, is at 4.3%. Even with all the manipulation, they have still been able to, basically try. They're trying hard, and they're still pushing this down because there's, of course, the U6 unemployment rate, and you could look at shadow stats. Others have a higher number, but it's still getting higher after it had gone lower. Now, this is important. What is going on? All of what's happening in the economy predicated on one thing, and that is the actions of the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve makes the sun come up in the morning, and they are the ones that control everything, the stock market, your retirement account, all of that, and they cut interest rates. So what happened with Jerome Powell on Tuesday, the central bank needed to continue balancing the competing risks of high inflation and weakening job market in the coming rate decisions. Look, you had this in September. There's one in October, late October, and then December. The expectation is 2 more cuts before the end of the year. That brings us down. We're at a level which is getting a little bit easier. Take a look at something called Financial Conditions Index. This is going to give you a better view of what's happening overall. There's another thing that you can look up, okay? So you got Financial Conditions Index. You can write that down. There's another thing called Fed Net Liquidity, what I call the triple M. And what this is basically getting into the total measure of how much cash is out there. This is an important factor because it's going to determine what happens tomorrow. You have to keep your finger on the pulse if you are willing to, get out there and learn all this stuff. This is basically just saying that you've got the economy, job situation not good, but inflation situation also not good because things are starting to tick up. This is a big problem, a very big problem, in fact. September 2025 labor market update. The squeeze on new entrants mirrors a market-wide decline. Job postings are overall 4% higher, but 7% lower than last year. There's a problem also with jobs. I've seen this a lot. Their employers are doing some trickery, and the employees or potential employees are doing some trickery. There is a big mess happening right now. The return to the office, yes, some of that is happening, but in many places, a lot of the employees, the official mandate, get back to the office. And a lot of them are simply pushing it off. And if they have high value, they're able to get away with it. Now, so there's something going on here, okay? There's a problem in this labor force. And a lot of people, they have 2 jobs, 3 jobs. There are multiple job holders. That continues to go up. You've got people working the gig economy. You've got people that are underemployed as well. The economy is dealing with this. Everybody's going on with this. And we have to do better for ourselves so that we can move up the ladder or we could do our own thing, whatever it is to you. This is so important. What can we do? So I want to talk about that right now. Now, with all this data around job losses and stagnant wages, I think a lot of people are asking, how do you actually get ahead in a situation like this? Because the truth is, hoping for the market to fix it for you, that is not a strategy. And I felt this myself recently. I realized that I've been so focused on everything going on out there, I hadn't really stepped back to think about my own direction. So I ended up doing a session with a coach from this platform called strawberry.me. I had been struggling big time and it genuinely helped. It was a conversation at first, but the coach actually helped me reconnect with what I'm aiming for, where I'm getting stuck, and how to fix it. We built out a plan, something realistic, and I left that call feeling like I had clarity again. Part of that, what you're seeing, the ABC, that is part of what we did together on strawberry.me. I'll be continuing with regular sessions too. We set up a plan, and the accountability going forward is a big part of what makes this work. Look, the job market is getting tighter and the competition is getting stronger, and most people don't have a real strategy. So if you're feeling stuck and want to be proactive, I strongly encourage you to try it too. All right, now let's talk about what Powell said last week, because part of that is being overlooked. Jerome Powell, he's the one everybody is looking at, and this guy said, imagine this for a second, that we have to balance these two things, and they're both starting to get out of hand. At the same time, basically everything is at an all-time record high. That's a huge deal. The Chicago Fed said that it combined government and private data into a new estimate of the unemployment rate that would give policymakers faster moving, twice monthly updates of a statistic central to the central bank's current interest rate debate. The new real-time set of labor market statistics relies on the government's current population survey, along with some sources from ADP, online job posting, Indeed, and Google projects the unemployment rate most likely stayed stable in September at 4.3%. So their new metric is just as manipulated as the BLS. This is crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, please understand that what you are looking at, you are being spoon-fed lies. But the actions that you need to take, that's something that's regardless of all of this. A, we're looking at B, we'll cover C. Though businesses are hoarding workers, they have remained reluctant to increase headcount as they navigate uncertainty wrought by protectionist trade policy, which boosted the nation's average tariff rate to the highest level in a century. You're seeing companies that are basically saying, we're not going to hire, we're freezing hiring, we're going to try and implement AI if they're sort of a tech-focused company. They are using offshore when they can. Everything goes right now. The job situation is very different. Okay, this is basically talking about what's happening with the cuts. They want more cuts, they want bigger cuts, but that's going to fuel inflation. They know that. That's an absolute fact. So what do you got to do? Well, we're going to break this down really quickly. This is the most important part. What can you do? Because all this stuff, to me, it doesn't really mean anything. It's like watching a whole bunch of shorts. Like, you're not going to go anywhere by watching shorts. Why don't we actually get into the depth? So you probably saw this. U.S. created 900,000 fewer jobs through March 2025 than initially reported. What does that tell us? That number one, the information is manipulated, but that we better not be part of these statistics. That's a key. Look, this is directly from the Fed. This is their report, okay, from the Federal Reserve Board as well as Citigroup. This was back in June. Demand-boosting policies, including monetary policy, can inadvertently widen the disparity through the inflation channel, underscoring the importance of inflation stabilization and promoting equitable growth in the labor market. They admit that their monetary policy, printing money, can widen the disparities. Yeah, the haves and the have-nots. When you print money, one small group of people gets it, and everybody else gets the shaft. That's what this is all about. So you as an individual, what can you do? Number one, upskill. Number two, you got to look at your current skills. You have to say, is what I have now valuable in the next year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? If not, depending on, that time frame, I need to start to upskill, learn a new skill. Or is my current skill monetizable? I'm just not using it properly. I'm working for the wrong company. Be honest with yourself. Is this the right company? Are you doing something that's benefiting those in the top of your company, the C class? Or is it something that, hey, I like the people I work with, I'm making good money, I get a good salary, all that stuff? Yeah, great. Okay. But if you don't address these things, nobody's going to do it for you. The Federal Reserve is not going to come out there and they're going to quantitative easing boost your bank account. Okay, do it to me, please. I would love that. But the truth is, it's not going to happen. And if you want to take control, that's when things start to change. What I started doing was I said, okay, I need to get out there. I need to upskill. I need to learn new skills. I need to adapt. I started learning everything that I could. I have online businesses, which I sell physical products. I sell digital products. I am out there every single day doing something in order to help out my situation as well as helping out others. Okay. I took a customer service phone call today. Hello, yeah, oh, you can do that, you can do this. Yeah, that's the way it works. Thank you. See you soon. These are the things that you have to do. You got to get your knuckles a little bloody sometimes, You have to take action. You have to take action, even if it's, I don't really want to do that. I'm not a customer service person, right? That's not my role, but I took the call and I did it with pleasure. You have to do certain things and you have to take the action today. I hope that's very clear. If you want to learn more about that, you can do so at my website for free. Okay, it's called Compass. It's like a foundational course, like 20 minutes long, a bunch of little videos. And once you get that foundation in, you've got things really down packed. I'm telling you, in 20 minutes, you can make a big difference. If you just understand all of that, and the best part about that, very shareable because you can give it to your friends, family. It has nothing to do with my YouTube. It's got nothing to do with no Federal Reserve, none of that. TheMoneyGPS.com, you click on Compass, go through those videos, 20 minutes, you'll be done. You'll be much better off, and it's great shareable content. I want to thank you for being here. Hit that thumbs up button. You're supporting me when you do that. When you hit a comment down below, I'm going to comment back. I'm going to hit that little heart button. I want to hear from you so we can engage. That's the most important part about all of this. Okay, so I want to thank you. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.